So how has this tour gone?
It's been really good, actually, because it's like last time around when we did Doubt, that there was a meaning to the tour, and there isn't really a meaning to the tour this time round. There isn't. There's no angle. There's no. Well, look, go and see Jesus Jones do this or that. Do you know what I mean? So we wanted to do this one, especially because we've got Gary standing in on bass. We wanted to do it so that we could prove to ourselves that we could just tour at the drop of a hat. And especially with the situation with Alan means that we can't get him to play. Do you know what I mean? If somebody says to us in January, would you guys like to do a gig in February? The logistics of trying to get Alan to sort everything out and have everybody in the same place at the same time probably wouldn't work. So we need the ability to be able to play, because otherwise, you know, we're going to miss out on things. So it was like, right, let's see if we can do a tour, see if we can get Gary in on bass, and see if it works. And it has. You know, the crowds are the same sort of sizes they were on the Doubt tour.
That's good.
And the reactions are sort of the same. Do you know what I mean? I think we're playing at a similar sort of level, if not slightly better, because we're kind of working out how to use the tech. So it's been good.
So, have there been any particular highlights on this tour?
Yeah, when we played Stripped in the Brook in Southampton, and it was just amazing for me. There was just something about it on that night. I was telling Jen about it the next day. It was like I've been at the middle section of Stripped, where it all drops down to just me playing the samples, and before I start all there's a kind of like strange portamento wobbling dubstep bass line thing that I play later in the song. And just before all of that stuff kicked in, it's just like I couldn't stop moving. You know, it was like I'd been electrocuted. I was just like jumping around all over the place. It was amazing. So that was really good. And I think yesterday's gig in Leicester was really, really good. Yeah.
So we've got a lot to live up to tonight.
Yeah, you got a lot to live up to.
Right, okay. On this tour, you've been playing Dead People's Lives.
Yes.
What made you decide to play it again after all these years?
Because you've seen us. You've seen us loads of times, like, you know, between the last 7 years. And you remember when we pretty much did the same, you know, when we did Slade UK or whatever, or those sort of gigs, or we support the Wonder stuff. We did the same set every time, right? Pretty much the same set. It was like, oh well, we'll start with, you know, you start with International, and Caricature was always like third song in. Do you know what I mean? Who, Where, Why, second to last, Idiots There, and we kind of, you know, we sort of got into a bit of not a rut, but it was just a normal thing. And especially with Caricature, I think it's amazing, but we lent on it a bit hard, like, oh yeah, of course Caricature's in the set, it's a great song, it's always in the set, but I think we'd stopped thinking why it was in the set, and we had a discussion about it, and I said, well, wouldn't it be nice to kind of see if we could turn other songs into Caricature, because Caricature wasn't always like that. It became this sort of like great B-side moment. So we were like, well, what else could we play? Do you know what I mean? And so there was loads of stuff that was in the frame. We were thinking about, it's like, well, we should play Devil You Know, or we should play this, and we should play that. And I was like, well, why don't we play Dead People's Lives? Because it's kind of like, it's got that sort of slow, churning, classic Jones tempo thing going on. And so it's a bit, do you know what I mean? It's got elements of things like Song 13 or All the Answers. It's a similar sort of thing. And I was like, I think we can make it work. And when it started the first gig in London, I wasn't quite sure that it did work. And as the tour's gone on, it's got better.
I know you said to me personally, I've lost the samples, we won't be playing it. So very well played.
Completely. We lost the samples. And we've never played it. We've never played it live, so we had to kind of. So it's good. So we've had to go into it thinking, well, how do we do this then? So at the moment, it's quite simple and basic, but I think it'll be one of those things which would be nice to build. And also, the other good thing about it is
it's back in the set. It's a song that we can call on in the future. Do you know what I mean?
What's the feedback been like from the fans with it?
Yeah. People are always really surprised that we played it.
Okay, are there any other B-sides that you'd like to see the band play in the future?
Same old. There's only other three that I would just like to play. Just Broken Bones, It's the Ring That Counts, Maryland. Those are the three.
Cool.
Those are my three favourite tracks.
You've been playing a new song on this tour, which can always be tricky for fans if they haven't heard it before.
Yeah.
So, what's the feedback been like on this new song?
It's been really good. It's quite for a new song. It's quite. I'm not saying it's easy to play, but it's quite sort of straightforward. It's quite a direct song, so it's quite. Yeah, it's good fun for the band to play. It's got this simplicity, which lends itself especially to being played live.
Right.
And it works live. It's got this kind of emptiness about it, which is really nice. And everybody's really enjoyed it, which is great because, I'm the same as anybody else. I'll go and see a band, and the moment that you see anybody playing live and they go, here's a new song, you just sort of go, fucking hell.
Well, actually, for me, it's been quite surprising. I've actually not watched any of the live footage of this new song.
Okay.
So tonight's a debut.
So you know what I mean? I saw a Duran Duran gig like years ago, about 10 years ago, and they played like loads and loads of stuff off whatever album it was that they put out then in 2005, and it was painful. Do you know what I mean? And ever since then, I've been really kind of wary of doing that. But you have to do them at some point.
Yeah.
And it's quite cool because although we'll say, hey, this is a new song, it doesn't feel dramatically out of place, I don't think.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you about Right Here, Right Now.
Yes.
I'm aware there was a version done with, correct me if I'm wrong, either samples or loops from a Prince track.
Yes.
Do you still have this version in the JJ vaults?
Yes.
And will it ever be heard by anyone outside of the band? Or is it a case of there's too much legal...
Probably. Yeah, you probably legally wouldn't be able to get away with it. There's just... a lot of the beats and breaks behind the demo version. When you demo original songs, you set up songs by grabbing something, and instead of... The easiest way to do something is to get a sample and set it looping and just play over the top of it. And obviously, so that would mean that you'd have a demo version of a song which just had a Prince sample going all the way through the song.
Okay.
There's probably a version, and it's... Yeah, at that sort of level, it's just... you'd never get away with it, especially...
Okay. I'm also aware from previous conversations with you that you have masses of material in the vault.
Yeah.
With lots of live material, different mixes, as well as video footage.
Yeah.
With all of this material, what is the possibility of a Jesus Jones box set featuring lots of live tracks appearing in the future? And would it be likely to be crowdfunded for it to work?
You could do, I suppose. There's not much kind of... there's a lot of video footage. There's not much sort of desk footage, stuff that's been recorded off the desk. And a lot of the stuff that actually was back then, that's the stuff that's come out already. So things like the Brit Awards gig at Wembley that the BBC put out, and BBC put out Glastonbury.
Yeah. The only one I haven't put out is... They haven't put out the Wembley one.
No, they haven't put out Wembley, and I don't know, there's something odd about that Wembley one because they didn't... So whether they broadcast it, but I don't know what they did with the tapes, and it doesn't make any sense. The
Historian one was another one as well.
The only thing I can think of that is that that was the... Oh, are we talking about the Wembley one or the INXS Wembley one?
The INXS Wembley one.
Okay, the INXS Wembley one, that was the gig that the band released as a gig.
Yeah.
INXS released that as Live Baby Live. So all I can think is that if
if the band, if In Excess, I mean, had some sort of arrangement where they obviously knew that they were going to record that gig and put it out for themselves, right? So I don't know whether that means that other performers at the time, when they signed a contract to do that show, whether that means that they signed a thing saying, well, we won't use the live thing in case. It would be a bit funny if, like, here's In Excess's live album from this big show, and at the same time, if you want, you can get Jellyfish's album from that entire show. I think possibly, this is just guesswork on my point, but I reckon it could be the fact that In Excess were like, well, that's our show, it's our live album, and everybody else can't do what we are doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, last year on the Doubt Tour, you played a different, updated version of Stripped.
Yes.
To my knowledge, you also re-recorded 2 and 2.
Yes.
As well as a new version of Stripped.
Yeah.
Are we likely to hear these recorded anytime soon?
Yeah, maybe next year, maybe next March or April.
Okay. Mike is currently writing new material at the moment.
November.
And of course, many of us are dying to hear this new material as soon as possible. With crowdfunding sites like Pledge and Kickstarter allowing many bands to release material, do you see your future releases being done this way?
Yeah, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. The trouble is, you do pledge, and 10% of the money you raise goes to somebody else's pocket.
Right. Okay.
Because they take a cut of it. And these days, we've got enough of a. We function as our own kind of little cottage industry anyway, and. Yeah, I mean, if you raise like the 25 grand to get an album professionally recorded, I know exactly what Mike's like. Mike would be like, well, what do we need to record an album for 25 grand? Let's see if we can do it for 5 grand and whatever. That's just what Mike's like. And we've got all the facilities to do digital delivery and stuff on via our own website, on our own kind of. Our own network of kind of friends and supporters. We've got enough people to be able to do that. Anyway, in much the same way when we did the live DVD.
Yeah.
The live DVD was a massive success, and we did all of that just with a month's notice. We decided to do it ourselves. So if we wanted to do a new album, I reckon we'd do exactly the same thing again. So we can go through a middleman. We just go straight to the fans direct and do it that way.
When the new material is ready to be released, would you prefer to release it as a single album or spread it out as 2 separate EPs, roughly 6 months apart?
No, well, oh man, that's too hypothetical for me. Too hypothetical.
Okay.
I think probably what we're planning to do at the moment is maybe put out an EP in March, April, and an album in November.
Cool. If you did a show or tour for Perverse, would you be prepared to rock out the old school 1993 hats again?
Yeah, probably. Actually, yeah. I've got all the old Anarchic gear still. I've still got the kind of orange suit, like an orange trousers and jacket.
Yeah.
I've still got all of that. I've still got the crazy hat too as well. So I've got all of it still. All of our gear then. The stage clothes and the stuff we wore in photo sessions and the stuff we wore for the Zeros and Ones video. It was made by this very young and up and coming clothes designer, and we were the first kind of band that she'd worked with to make clothes and put them out there. And her name was Michelle, and she's really good. She's fantastic. And so she gave us all these amazing kind of like hand sewn clothes, and it turns out that she's now she does all of the costumes for Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Yeah, she does all and she's done all the costumes for Game of Thrones. She's now pretty much the most famous costume designer in the world, and she's won Emmy awards and whatever Grammys and things for doing what she's done. And and we were the first little band that she worked with.
Ideal.
Amazing.
If you guys could either do a tour or one-off show for Perverse, what song would you look forward to playing to the most and why?
Off Perverse. We play Magazine on this tour, which I really like anyway, so doing that again has been fantastic. I always enjoyed playing Devil You Know, even though it's kind of quite a complex thing to do live. That was always good fun. I'd like to have another go at Tongue Tied, I think, because Tongue Tied we never quite did justice. We've never obviously played the whole of Perverse, and when we did the Perverse tour last, in '93 and '94 and '95, when we did gigs back then, we dropped between 4 and 6 tunes off the albums into a set. It was quite a lot. So we played Spiral and Yellow Brown, Your Crusade, Magazine. Can't remember if we did get a good thing. Whatever. Anyway. But Tongue Tied, because it was written pretty much at the same time as Idiot Stare, eventually it became one of those things where Tongue Tied just got blown out of the water by Idiot Stare, because we played both songs and we were like, yeah, Tongue Tied's good, Idiot Stare though, fucking hell, it was enormous. And Idiot Stare kind of just took on a life of its own, and Tongue Tied sort of withered and died a bit, and eventually we just why don't we play Idiot Stare? That's the one that goes down better. So we kind of forgot about Tongue Tied, and I think that it'd be nice to see if we could revisit it and see if it came back as big as Idiot Stare did.
Okay, last question. Yeah. I've got to let you get ready for stage. In your whole time with the band, what was your best moment?
It's probably when they ring you up and tell you that you're going to be on Top of the Pops for the first time. That's quite amazing. Do you know what I mean? All the firsts are really good. So the first time you hear yourself on the radio is amazing. And I don't know what it's like for kids these days, because the radio isn't jack shit anymore. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And there's 1,000,001 little radio stations now. Do you know what I mean? Back then, when it was just Radio 1, and when Radio 1 suddenly plays a record, you were like, this is amazing. So that was incredible. And then, when they ring you up and say, you are going to be on Top of the Pops, because that whole thing, the way Top of the Pops works is, there are bands that are on, it used to be about record sales and how your sales were doing, and projected chart positions. So they were like, well, here's a band that's going to be, what are you thinking, between 30 and 40 next week, so we need them on or whatever. And you'd have things like, do you know what I mean? You'd be like the first alternate choice. Yeah. So if they've got room, or somebody else pulls out, or your record does better than you think, then you're on. Do you know what I mean? So, and when you finally get the nod and they say, well, yeah, you're allowed to do it, doesn't make any sense now. I can tell, you can write this down and tell it to other people, and anybody under the age of about 30, they'd be like, what on earth is he on about? What's a big bloody deal about Top of the Pops? But it's difficult to explain. Like 25 years ago, that was a huge deal. Do you know what I mean?
I think it was a pretty big deal as well, in the fact of if you didn't have Sky TV in the early 90s, sometimes that was your only exposure to seeing new stuff.
And I can't tell you what a big thing it was. I mean, these days, people say, I'm going to be on the telly, who cares? Do you know what I mean? But back then, that meant that millions of people would see you. Do you know what I mean? Top of the Pops would be watched by millions of people. Back then, 25 years ago, you were talking about records selling, 50 or 60,000 copies a week or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And that's a lot. And all of a sudden, you're in a million living rooms on a Thursday night at 7 o'clock in the evening. And that, it was a big game changer for us, and it's a massive thing. All of a sudden, there's people in the pub that recognise you. Yeah. People would recognise me on the street. because I'd been on top of the pops. So that was a big thing. There you go.
Right. Thank you very much, Iain.
No worries.